Yeah, hello. Am I audible? Okay. Good morning, everyone. So today we start the summer internship and training. Today we're not gonna do much, but we're just gonna have a look on the local environment setup for the web development, and then we'll also be discussing about what's the difference between a local web development and a production level web development. Uh, okay, can you all please write down your name and your just name in the chat. Okay. Thank you. So today we'll be looking at the environment setup that is for the front end and the back end and as well as the full stack. The first thing will be the front end setup. The second thing will be back end setup, and then the final thing will be the difference between a local and a production level development. Okay, so what do we need for the front end? Basically, what we need is a browser, any latest browsers like Chrome, Firefox, you can use anything. Just make sure that it's updated to the latest one, and then you need a text editor. That's all you need for a front-end development. So for the text editor, you can use like there are so many text editor like Notepad++ and Notepad++. You have Visual Studio Code, which is I recommend. We have Visual Studio Code. We have Vim. We have many text editors, so you can anyone use any one of them. And then for the browser, you can also use any of the browser. Just make sure that it's updated to the latest one. For the backend, it's same. We need the text editor, and then we need a local server and a database. So for the text editor, as you know, you can go with any text editor. But for the local server, you can use if you're on a let's say you're on a Mac OS, the Apple system, then you can go with like something like you can go with this one. And if you're on Windows, you can go with this one. And then there's another one called this XAMPP. These things can run on any system, regardless of whether you're in a Windows or Mac OS or a Windows or even a Linux. You can run it there. I'll provide the links for the softwares later after the class gets over. And database, for the database, we'll be using the MySQL database, which is already inside this XAMPP program. So that's it for the backend. And then for the full stack, whatever I discussed here in front end and back end, both combined will be the full stack. So like for the full stack, you need a text editor, you need a browser, you need a database, you need a local server, all of that. Next, we'll be looking at the differences between the local and production level development. So what's the focus of a local development? So the focus of a local development is to build and test features, debug code, iterate quickly, which means that when the local when we're developing a let's say a website or anything locally, we just want to test out the features. We don't look at the okay how is the features performing and how are the what are the performance we are gaining, whether it's fast, whether it's slow. We don't care much about that. We just look after like is the feature working? That's our main priority, because in the local development, unlike the production level where we have like millions of base users, for the local development we have like hardly one to that too will be like done by your own system. So like it's like we're just taking one user, or if you let's say uh, in a browser, if you're using multiple tab, then yeah, you can do like 30-40 users, so that's not much, and then it can run smoothly. But when you go to the production level development, the main focus will be like we need stability, performance, and we need the security. So this is the difference, or like that's the focus between the local development and the production level development. And then the environment, for the local development, I've just shown like you just need a the those you just need a text editor, all those things like local server, and then even the database will be like locally hosted on the machine, which will be like your own system. And for the production level, you need a remote server with robust hardware and software, which means that okay, so for the local system, when when you deploy a website, it's deployed in your laptop, and then only you can access it. But when you want like millions of users to access your computer, you need to put your project on the servers, which basically means that something like cloud. If you upload your project on the cloud, then whoever has the domain names or to your website, they can visit it. So that's the difference. Configuration, next is configuration, tailored for ease of development, error reporting enabled, and local databases. And for production, we have optimized for performance and security, error reporting disabled, and dedicated databases. Which means that, as I mentioned earlier, for local development, you don't look much about like, what kind of, like, whether the performance is good, whether the security is high or low. You don't look much about it. You just focus on like, okay, I'm building this thing. I want this feature. I want to see whether this feature works, and that's your motive. But on the production, you have to think about, okay, if I deploy this feature, is it gonna decrease the performance of my, like, let's say your website or your web app? And in local development, since we're just trying out the features, we can enable the error reporting. That means like if you're trying to run a feature and then that feature doesn't work, so you want to know, what's wrong in your code or what's wrong with that feature, so you enable the error reporting so that you can, this feature doesn't work well because of this error. But you know in the production level, you don't do that because you already work or you already optimized the particular feature and then you work on it. So for production, your main focus is like performance, stability, able to handle the traffic, because like I said, in online internet there will be like millions of users. So your main focus is like performance. You don't want the user to be like waiting for your website to load. The user experience gets bad. That's the reason. That's the another difference between local and production development. Second is code. How we write the code for a local development and how we write code for a production development. So for the local development, not fully optimized, comments and debugging statement present, minified and compressed unnecessary comments are removed. For example, when we do a coding for the, let's say it's my first time building a let's say a project on a website. Okay, I'm just building a web app, and then I'm building that for product, like let's say like local development. Okay, so when we do that, we write lots of basically we don't write clean codes, which means that sometimes we are repeating the same code, and then sometimes we are like writing unnecessary uh, writing unnecessary comments, which means like let's say you wrote a line of code and then above it you write the comment like, okay, this part of code is doing the, let's say, is displaying an image, or like next, let's say you're playing a video, so like you write in the comment section, like in the comment you write like this part is for like displaying the video. And like those are very like not necessary, okay, for a local development. And then for your understanding you can write that, but like when it comes to production level development, you don't want that. You want your code to be like very clean code. You want the code to be like robust, reliable. And then comments are not very necessary unless it's very important, or like unless uh, you know it's like a guideline to follow. Your comments in the production development are minified. You don't go there. Next is the data. What kind of data do we feed the local development, and what kind of data do we feed the production level development? So in a local level development, dummy data are fed, and then frequent changes. Okay, let's say I'm building a website, and then let's say I'm storing. Uh, okay, let's say I'm building a website, and then the user is registering. Okay, but the website is I developed locally. Okay, so when the user logins, he can enter his let's say email, and then his password, and then his name, and then he can register himself. So in the local development, what you can do is like you can manipulate the data whenever you want. You can just go to the database. You can just manipulate uh, his data. Because you're basically it's your own data which you have entered, and then you're just manipulating it to see if it shows any error or not, and all of that. But in a production level development, all the data are real time, and then you can't manipulate it at your own will. That's why even the big companies, when they collect our data, even they don't have the right to misuse our data. Of course they can use it for like ads purposes and all that, but then, like they are not permitted to use our data without our consent. So that's the difference. For data, the main difference is like, okay, for test local development we are using the dummy data, and then for the production we are using the real user data, which should be whenever the user use our data, we can collect the data. For the second point we have is security. What's the difference of security in local and production development? So like I mentioned earlier, for security, for local development we don't care much about the security. What we all see, local development, what's our main focus is like whether the feature works, the feature that we're trying to create, whether it works or not. But for production development, security is a must. You don't want, if the security of the website is weak in the production development, then anyone, like any hacker can, just come and take away your data, and then he can misuse your data and all that. So security is a must in production level development. It holds high priority. Second is version control. So for local development, highly important is a Git, and then important for tracking changes control development. Okay, so version control is like, let's say this month you launch a website. Okay, let's not talk about local development, because for a local development uh, you just try to create a feature, you just test the feature, you don't care about the version controls, because you're gonna make changes frequently, and then which doesn't even count as a version control. But for the production level development, they do a set of tasks. They complete a set of tasks, and then they, let's say they launch their website, and then after some time, let's say they got a bug reported, and then they fix the bug, and then they fix the bug, and then they re-upload it. That means like a new version has launched. But let's say the version is like, the new updated one is causing another problem, and then it's a very huge problem. It's a major problem, and then it cannot be, uh, the website cannot be run without the problem being solved. So during that time, control deployment is like, you can roll back, you can go back to your previous version. you know Although the previous version will still have the bug, the small bug that was reported, but then like at least the website is still usable. So you can roll back to the previous version, and then you can rework on the uh, recent version that you launched, and then you can relaunch it again. So that's why it's very important for tracking changes in the control deployments for production development. Next is testing. For local development, you can use your manual testing. That's like, just, if you go to any browser, and then let's say inspect, then you can just test your everything here. All the tools are provided here for the local development, but for a production level development you can't do all of that. For production level development you can't do all of that, because they have a particular set of tools and frameworks for the performance testing, load testing, and all that. Second is monitoring, basic debugging tools, and then continuous monitoring of website performance and server health. Basic debugging tools is basically the tools that comes along with the browsers. You can just for the local development, you can just use that. For production level development, you can't use that. You have to keep a track of how your website is performing, and then each and every day, new users will be coming up. So like how is your website or web app handling all those, let's say today you have like 10,000 users. Next week you might have 15,000, and in the next week you might have like 20,000, and then so on. So each and every day you have to test how your website or web app is working. So like there are more differences, but these are the major ones between a local development and a production level development. So for us, for the projects, for the mini projects or main projects, where our mainly focus is the local development. So local development, you don't have to worry much about the performance, the security, your how the is it very optimized? Are you writing clean codes or no? You don't have to work on all that. Of course, once you gain some experience, once you know how it works, what's happening, then you can go ahead with that. But for now, since it's some of you for some of you it might be your first time. So for now, you can just focus on building the feature you want to try. Let's say there's a feature you want to try, so you can just focus on building that. So our main focus for local development will be, okay, I wanna build this feature. I don't care about the performance and all, because we're gonna be testing locally anyways. And then if you wanna take that feature in the production level, what kind of optimization can you make? That can be another thing. So that's all for the differences between production and local development. If you guys have any question, then you can ask. It's between Git and GitHub. Okay. Git is like Git is like a free open source, that lets you control the version of your, project or of your development. And then GitHub is like a pay to use, and then it lets you use your, let's say, the version control. The Git can be only locally used, and then to control the version, of your of your project locally. But if you want to use the Git online, you can go with the GitHub, but then you have to like pay some prices for that. They have like different prices for that. But then, like, Git and GitHub is not, like, I'm just right now I'm just explaining in a nutshell. But Git and GitHub, it's a very huge, topic. There are many things comes under Git and GitHub. But in a nutshell, Git helps you control the version of your development. Uh, and that can be done only locally. But then if you want to use your Git, the version control in a production level, let's say like you want to upload in a cloud, and then you want to see your how the project, during that time you can use it. But then like you have to like they have like the GitHub, they have like price and they have the price. You have to pay some price for to use the feature, to use the Git online. So in a nutshell, that can be understood that way. But it's a very big term, even the Git and GitHub. Any more questions?
Hello, hello. Can you hear?
Yeah, yeah.
So about the GitHub now. So are we going to utilize GitHub in our what is it programming? No, like
Not
this
for
whole.
this time. Maybe next time, but not this time. Because since we have like a couple of first years, we have a couple of second years, so we are not able to, let's say if the internship was only for like a second year or final year, we could have we could have went something like for something like high level, we could have done GitHub and all of that. But since we have first years, and then we're trying to find the balance point where it's like not very hard and not very easy also, we're trying to find the balance. But next time we're just planning, next time from next time will be like, let's say summer internship is for like freshers, and then winter internship is for like, the final year students or second year students. So we'll see that next time. But for this time we'll just go for the, just normal. Are we using Netlify for hosting our project? For local development, for right now we're not using anything like that. We'll just deploy it locally. Uh, Minding that we have only like 30 days, so we can't just go with everything. And then even you guys have exams in between, so like some days we have off, so we're trying to find a balance within for like everyone. So
Hello, sir. One question.
yeah, sure.
So is SplinXify host like in how in what manner SplinXify is hosting your website?
SplinXify. So, okay, let's talk about SplinXify. How is it also again? We have okay, I can't share all of the details, but then like the first step is like first step of course you have to do your development. That is like you have to design your website. You want to add the features you want. You have to manage the data and all of that. So the things you need is like a database. So okay, some the hosting services they provide database inside of it. Okay, for example, Hostinger. You have Hostinger. You have uh even enterprise level. You have like Superbase. That's for like mainly for database. But the popular one is a Hostinger. Yeah, this one Hostinger. Of course, you have to pay some price to use the service, and then to buy a domain name, you have to go like GoDaddy, something like GoDaddy. You have many different services that provide you with the DNS name. So let's say I build a website again. Let's say I just build a website. Okay, okay. Let's say I just build this website. Let's say I just build this website, and then uh, the website is completed, and then I want to host it. So for that I will just take all my files and I'll go to the hostinger. So after I purchase the plans, I can upload my files in the hostinger, and then okay, let's say I did not buy the domain name. Okay. And whenever we build a website and we upload to the hosting services, our websites are basically a, like a IP address. Okay, every website has an IP address. So for normal users, it wouldn't be easy to, remember all the IP addresses. And then to resolve this problem, we have something called uh, domain names, so that we can buy a domain name and then we can link the domain name with this IP address. Let's say this is the SplinXify IP address again, and then we purchase the domain name like SplinXify. We purchase this domain, SplinXify.com, and then we connect it, we link both of these. So next time when you type this, or even if you type this, you'll be landed on the same page. That's our website. That's how it works. Oh, sure. Wait. Okay. Let's go URL scan. As you can see, I just pick this DNS. Like this is a website can have like multiple DNS. Okay, and also a website can have like multiple domain names. So I just take this DNS and then I paste it here, and then it leads me to google.com. And then if I type google.com, it just leads me to google.com. So like when we take our website, or like when you take our project to production level development, then our project has something called an IP address, and every project has an IP address, but it's not easy for the users to remember all the IP addresses. Like let's say if a domain names never existed, then we have for to access Google, we have to call it with something like we have to memorize these numbers: 142.250.74.196. For Facebook, we have to remember another set of IP address DNS records. For Instagram and so on. So like in order to solve this, they came up with these domain names so that it's easier, it's easier to remember Instagram.com or Facebook.com instead of a bunch of numbers. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yes. So about the data, na? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah,
So let's just take the example of SplinXify itself now.
yeah,
So the data, so for instance, we are sending our informations and like our what is- things that we want to join or something like that. Now,
yeah, yeah.
so that data, are you guys storing in your own local database, or are you taking services like
Yeah, yeah.
in what it can be
Uh,
stored?
that's why I said, for example, this hosting area, they provide the database in their service itself. But then, like, if you want to go, if you have like millions and billions of users, then you have to go something like on an enterprise level. During that time, this hosting won't be able to support it. So you have to go like something like, you know, something bigger than the hosting. But for medium to beginner to medium level businesses, hosting is good. Okay, did you guys all understand the IP addresses and domain names? I can see only one student saying yes. What about others? Which programming languages are we using to build our project? I think it's clearly mentioned for web development. Since you guys comprises of first years and then second years, we can't go with like advanced stuffs. Of course, there are easier ways of doing things with the salt frameworks and all, but then we'll be doing the basics. That's like for web development. Front end, we'll be focusing on HTML, CSS, JavaScript. For backend, we have the PHP, the scripting language, and the database. For full stack, it comprises of everything: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, MySQL. It's basically called a lamb stack. It's called like lamb stack. We'll be going with this one. We'll be using lamb stack. There are advanced ones like Mern, Mean, and variations of it. We'll be going with a lamb stack. Okay, I don't see much responses about the website IP addresses and the domain names topic. So is it you guys understood everything? Like all of you who are present here today? Okay. Uh, okay, just to make sure, let me just explain it, in simple terms, okay? Nakamiss talaga explain ko dito. So, Mohan, website, let's say, the students sa SGU Pures na. Let's say you're a student and then you enroll in SGU, okay? You student as it, you SGU enroll siya and then enrolling in SGU means that to production level to siya there. So, Tate each and every student get identify go letan registration number dena, and then like no registration numbers are same no na. Ito nishna website kami ta individual IP address lagi de. So that every website is unique na. And then okay, haliwi university sab mano tila registration number lina the matu number na who can like remember a bunch of numbers to get matu layer ne. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enak ko na matulin na ito na dugas na ito time dahil domain names malap tila nam lina matuli aramas na in the types ka so tila nam mati chukule tila nam matam de tila registration number de point kuri de nga types na in us simple terms so hopefully you guys understood. Do you guys have any more questions?
Uh, acha.
Basic or advanced level for JS? We'll be going for the basic. Advanced to may takliman na pareharo. JavaScript yun na chutu no ide bish angorize de JavaScript to. You can't cover everything. And also programming language kan ki holi na, you can't cover everything. Of course, okay, if you're dedicated enough and then you want to master JavaScript along into alag kahani ase. But then like if you want to do all things, like for example মই the full stack type কৰে না, so I can't একটা দেহি full কিবা কৰিব নাপাৰে. I just go with what's necessary. মই কি লাগে না এইটো চলো. So এটাৰ কাৰণে the basics are enough আছে. মই কি কৰিব লাগে না, for that basics are enough.
তো মই সুধিবলৈ থকা না
সুধি
তো এইটো কিবা আপুনি আপুনি গ্ৰুপছতে ডিভাইড কৰিছে না
yes yes
তো এইটো লা একো পাৰপাছ আছে লাইক বিকজ লাইক এইটো like what's the whole point of breaking down in group?
Okay, first off, tohan main reason to na tohan alag alag hoiche na, for first year second year hoiche na, to at least tohan ge ekta ni lead banai dole na ekta na. Nale if everyone was like second year take nale everyone was like first year take ko division thako thaka. And then the second reason is one marks or grading kan dole na. Then the man piche de we might give task on like team basis la bore task kan do pare to tohan je help karna kiba ki ko lagbo na tash na. Eta develop grading kan marks kan develop always.
Okay.
Are we doing projects individually? Okay. Okay, acha, ito mo explain ko de pare to hami to hala team members ngai balo ko de. One 5 weeks as na. First week to ini chhadi ko le aji like the first week July la first June la first week aji khotom ho jawle na. So first week to ito ini setup khan na ki lagi mohan like text editor, browser, XAMPP, server ki lagi don explain ko dis na. আৰু second week day মহান কিবা কৰিব ইটো of course মহান ডাইৰেক্ট প্ৰেক্টিকেল যাব নাপাৰে at least অলপ থিওৰি থাকিব লাগে না জানিব লাগে না কি আছে কি কৰিব আছে উটো কি আছে ইটো কি আছে তন জানিব লাগে না second ইটো থাকিব third week day আচ্ছা first second third week সব পানি compulsory আছে দে regardless of which field you're using whether you're front end back end or full stack ইটো ছাড়না সব same থাকিব সব important কিবা আছে জয়েন কৰিব লাগে and third week day মহান কিবা কৰো কিবা orientation তানি মই কৈছি না তো আংগে project দিটা থাকলে একটা তো মই তাই স্পইল না করব ওলি ফুল স্ট্যাক project আছে একটা তো আর একটা তো কিবা আছে portfolio তো portfolio তো আংগে মহান দুইটা project দিনে কথা বলেছে portfolio তহান সব কি দিব দে and then course শিকাবলে তো মহা আছে project সব কি দিব and then তো portfolio সব কি বানাও দিব মই শিকাও structure কিনা করলে কি আছে কি চলাই আছে কিনা করে আছে মই বানাই শিকাই দিব এনা তাতে তো আলা flavor হালো লাগে মই বানাই দিছে ইটোহে লৈ যাব গান হয় মই বানাই দিছে তাতে তোহান style তোহান কিবা এটা add on করলে মনে আছে করব পারো নলি changes খান করলে মনে করব নলি আল্লাহ নিজে নতুন বানাও গলেছে ইটোই পারো কো তাতে রেস্ট্রিকশন নাই তোহান বড় আছে তো ইটো বিষয়ে ইটো তো third week তে হৈ যাব না and then by third week itself portfolio one finish for less day so like let's say first 2 days only 1 day my portfolio khatam koriche so like we'll give you guys like 2 days or 3 days to on nijor la flavor hale hole tade you guys will be to on nijor edit khan ki li kurbi na this changes na mo ki dishe exact na lo jai na nijor la flavor ka hale and then like I'll make sure that you guys understand moi I'm gonna try my best to let you guys understand what I'm doing কি কৰিছে তোহাং শিকাই দিব না তো তোহাং যেছে বলে এইটো লাইন অফ কোড নেলি ইটো পাৰ্টটো ইটো কৰি আছে ইটো পাৰ্টটো ইটো কৰি আছে না I don't want to send you guys like half cooked আধা জানি এনা কৰিলে কথা হলি মানে at least কি কৰিছে ছুটি হইবি ডাঙৰ হইবি কি কৰিছে জানি না যাও এনা টাইপস না তো এইটো বিষয়ে fourth week তে তো ফুল স্টেক লা করব দে তো ফুল স্টেক লা বি সেম আছে মই এবাৰ বানাই দেখাই দিব full stack line there. We have these teams front end, back end, full stack na. So front end though they will be, then their main focus will be the just the front end खाली website design को तान करना चाहिए जाओ back end खान दो data management हो और full stack खान दो तान सब पूरा बनाओ ले मुझे शिकाई दे वो इसी तरह same portfolio नीचे तान जो flavors थाले ऊपर तान तक ना करो and then we're doing our projects individually kind of individually unless or tohan team majode like help like gole exam ko dibe tiam tohan itu ekta team banale reason ta dibe se par na par hando any exam ge share gubi for fourth week full stack la thakbo and then fourth week maybe ta itu 2-3 days se khatam korbo and then like the rest of the time tohan la flavors kan dalbe na di do tohan and then the last week we have like maybe fourth week we might have some workshop. We're not sure yet. Fourth week there 하거나 fifth week there 하고 나중에 다 걸레 workshop 하면. Workshop will be offline, online or offline. Online 되고만 workshop은. Unless you know it's guaranteed. So no, I will offline go last time okay, we are happy, you know, you guys turned up. Workshop dito man alake matules na. So inamtahan gibi kya kodole mine. Are you providing materials for reference for absentees? Hoy, man provide korles. But that doesn't mean that you know man materials provide korles say na ton absent korbo engan hoide. Man ton exam thagina leave usually do alak kota ase do ko really like ton exam na na leave usually do ton la marks or grading and effect ko. But yes, we'll be providing the materials for the absentees. Can you explain more about the backend? One, sorry, ito project class size project class sub size wala backend ito database to man store han grow la na data han store grow to store kurle man MySQL chalo de and then you know to communicate like front end ye backend lo de communicate kurle gane man kiwa chalo le PHP chalo le scripting language na kuman PHP के personal homepage ko kuman hypertext preprocessing ko so backend करने तो code so one full stack the backend lo data enter kora any basic na crude operations kan create read update delete kan na ito na so basic operations सब cover koro
মই একটা অলপ বেছি স্পেচিফিক কুৱেশ্যন সুধিব আছে দে
okay sure
So, for instance, মই এটা মইলা any basic website এটা create কৰিছে create কৰি না মই তাতে any for instance certain images can upload কৰিছে আৰু না কৰি না for instance I don't have the money to get services but I want the host and I want people to access it na তো এনা free way পৰা possible আছে মানুহনকে any direct any link kan di নহলে বি any মইলা website access কৰিলে
yeah GitHub also for free garde you can just go with GitHub of course tadi tula let's say okay okay let's say itu github.com as there to tila project now this is your project and then this is github.com now now itu option but then like GitHub they upload code na dynamic ho na bro there you can just display your static website dynamic kan na bro
so like dynamic karne charges like ho na kinya
yes hosting ka jaw like hosting ka
okay.
dan jaw like
So about the portfolio na so if even the portfolio will it be dynamic or do we static tago
also portfolio do सबके front end la basics kan janai do le ne ase to itu do static thako portfolio alibi tati moi isu kya korna ase portfolio devi data hanna okay front end la cover kore ase basi portfolio the main the front end ni cover kore de because it's just displaying your tila resume online dala nishna ase na portfolio han do tali to kuman tade tala kiba bi thale na to itu garne man tade back end full na jabo alibi we just you know let's say itu inga thake na like your name email itu na to itu mui portfolio thali na ase itu na to itu la feature hi na matlab ite name kan thali na email kan thali na patai share hole do at least locally database store korle itu to kori na ase itu to shikai do ale main backend kan do full stack de jo how do we connect our front end to backend symbol explain grow kole do front end garne manida html css javascript jas na front end html css javascript jas na manda backend okay itu front end hoise backend ekta thake aro mon database thake to alag ase backend aro database same hoide so backend mon php chola ase na so php helps us connect with the database in ase mon like that lamp stack you know so for them to communicate HTML or PHP handle normally connect communicate কৰিব পাৰে হ'লে যি database লতে communicate কৰিলে কাৰণে তাইলা কিবা থাকে database কামি তানলা okay database it's like a room there itu lock থাকে there you need access na নহলে তো lock room lock না কৰিলে কোন মানুহ হলি আইনা তুলা data খান হলি তুলা ঘৰে সামাং সব চোৰ কৰি লৈ যাও না ইনা হ'ব ধৰে database খান তো room নিচিনা আছে তাহান তো lock থাকে আৰু itu lock la access তো তুই জানো না তো তুই PHP দে also credentials খান ঢালিব মইলা ঘৰলা number itu আছে মইলা ঘৰলা ani password itu আছে ইনা types না এনা না তাই একবাৰ connection বানাও দিছে communicate কৰিব man itu full stack kan de detail bajaw
One more.
yeah sure no
So despite this being just like web development, which is front and back end, any since aja do any explanations kan
yeah,
ase
yeah.
so any like about the any app kan karne na any ho jo le thala to like usually according to you na like apni karne like web hard as na app hard ase comparatively.
It's very subjective there it's very subjective because 저희들 에나스도 웹 TV 다한라 타게나 아니 아차 okay I'm going to explain for that let's say web development is sports na and then app development is sports तो दुईटा category दि top player खान थाई ना तो top player मान लियो तो starting level दि है तो दुईटा खान easy লাগে top player साइड top player खान की साइड ना compare करले तो दुईटा भी hard আছে कोन like itu easy আছে itu hard আছে क्या को ना पड़े इनास it's very subjective
Okay, so but one more question. This is
okay
really like
beginners there na beginner when you don't know anything like these are beginners there are and then you just started coding and you might feel web development a bit easier because and the main reasons are like it's easy to run there the Android la app company la first thing you need a good system the system na thakile to hoise tu la Android studio han ki lui load korli forever lagi jaw and then to know this better you can ask Sir Molong the experience that I already come korna as he was like in his past he was working on he's like mainly focused on Android he was working on his project and then like his system was like slow like the system dana and he has to wait like 5-10 minutes for the system to load and then he will write lines of code and then try to test go and run the system will hang for like another 5 minutes so like he has to wait for 5 minutes to be sure type go and I run go hang going so like nase so any overall saishi gulido yeah you might feel the web development easier the two like front end the full stack one front end easy level compared to Android development beginner starting level when you're just learning to code the coding kan man knowledge na thang tile ebra lot taka pise do it's same sab la nijor jode easy thage hard bhi thage ngana to hard lo jaw na easy lo jaw this
okay. So but like apart from like coding perspective na like the thing is now people are getting more aware of this like as web development and this and that so like there's more competition like people like manohan any ghore bohina bi shikina tahan high paying jobs can achieve ko paris na so in a situation that like the thing is kina like app or web edition there কোনটো একটা more paying job offer করার না হয়েছে আপনি কারণে তো like আপনি তো এনিবি ভাড়া লাগে না আছে যত না জানে না তো কোনটো more preferable হয়ে যায় for a company to hire and stuff
acha man eta garne any Indian market saude Indian market de web chola man nai de sab la hati ki de phone hi thake na to se India de phone la games is popular ase na compared to like computer games are tam bi thake but like phones kan you know stand de hati ai je to phone la apps kan banai shi le do reach kan bishi thake phone karne na to ida han itu like high paying kan ni tan de sa only ti let's say you want to do freelance kan to hisab sa shi le do Android kan thik ata de customer bishi thake client kan bishi thake na Android kan de আৰু তি কোৱা নিচিনা আজিকালি ঘৰে বহি না মানুহ কান হাই পেইং জবছ কান ক্ৰেক কৰে যে তাহান kile crack kore ase and then mohan kile crack ko na pare gole to mohan a level na ida side web development mohan da ki kore ase na di basic as de until and unless you go to web 3 that's like alaki level ase web 3 de jana hai gole to web 3 la je to sab ida same hoise sab man ta de punchi na jai web 3 de puncha manan kumti ase manan de web 3 de puncha na to web karne to web 3 yes and then for android bhi ajikali cross platform matlab code ekta karne likho duita system chilo enga types na you don't have to write like native codes android karne tu alag code likho ios karne alag code likho enka ajikali you can write both codes framework khan ase flutter ase react native khan ase then cholo paro holi tati kiba khan ase cons khan ase like native khan basically you have like more control holi ti cross platform khan basically man control na pai de but the conditional like any job khan karne holi pisa khan kiba khan karne lo hoy android ase
Okay, I see. Like, do you have any kind of recommendations? Like, any, for instance, any, if like after BCA, na, like instead of like MCA, na, like any places there, like Mohan, any try group pare na for our level na Mohan chance pa wala like ko asna na.
अच्छा मैं तो इतने आंसर अलग अलग वे में पौधे मतलब एक्सपीरियंस के लिए ना मैं इतना भावना कुछ है बोले like okay some of you might not know but like I was in SU for 5 years so like both BCA MCA my SU work question na so now like sometimes I feel like when I look back I just feel like okay my BCA complete question and then like I spent 2 years doing masters right so I was like thinking like okay my BCA complete करना any if I have done jobs na my jobs like front end or back end ki la tech related job करना था इसलिए तो I would have like 2 years experience na so let's say you come up you turn masters करना है share you're with your master's degree with zero experience and then I have BCA but I have 2 years of experience so to interview jam they couldn't give prefer course like this of course the one who is like some experience right so now that I with the bhavna culturally though I think I should have done some jobs that instead of going for masters I feel like at least tech fale na because say there man এটা কি পঢ়িছে হয় basics খান তো হয় basics খান help কৰে but then like outdated as well and then tech খান দিয়ে এটা তো AI আহা পিছত আলাগ boom চলি আছে everyday new technology new AI this that and whatnot right so itu angge sai na saise bole to I just feel like মই masters করলে জায়গাতে I should have just like পাহাড়ে যাই না কাম করি না experience লৈছে বলে তো এটি ভালো দেয় সেঙ্গা ফিল করে unless you're in a corporate job তুই পাহাড়ি রে নাচ দে পাহাড়ি র skills তে job দে দে they don't see the certificate now দে দে পাহাড়ি skills job আছে হলি তুই corporate থাকলে of course they will go with the তুই কি degree তুই degree level কি কি সব চাই দে but then like if you go out of it তুই skill খান দে skill हिसाब से पे करा job दिसे बोले तो they prefer the ones with the job that's why पहाड़ी से मानन से then 30-40 years अलग career थे and then suddenly they will switch to tech and then it seems तांग करना tech तो भी पालो जाए तो sorry someone who studied arts ने जो अलग एकदम अलग field journalism की है आही ना तान tech ते high package ना उठा लेना तो इतना से tech tech ला market ना if you have the right skills then you can just break anything and then always go for something that is like less kenapa competition as in like for a lot of education web3 is not easy okay it's very hard but then like তাদের competition কমতি আছে তুই তো web3 যাই না start করছে বলে তো পিছে তুই কারণে বেশি ভালো হবে web3 boom হং না only web3 দিবি আৰু মানুহ বেশি আইছে বলে for example this merge stack না merge stack like the merge stack there starting the bishop the market was just boom and then the merge stack developers were like getting high paying jobs na holi itan tangi sai na manu sob oh moi merge stack korle moi high paying job pabo na ona sob manu shikilo so ita the merge stack developer bishi hoise market bishi hoise now like the companies have like options na ai to developer kiba kore itu thik nai kore thekai na alag lobo paro holi be let's say merge stack la market itai developers komti ase holi the companies will be compelled to pay high paying jobs tangi rakhole garne na kile itu merge stack bhal ase and then tade developer komti ase developer engineer han bishi polish guldo aru tan benefits bishi pai ina ase tech market kan da.
Okay. So ini apna so apni mention coins na like AI boom ha to na. So ini apna views takin ase because like obviously the like developers can create a lot of threat to create coins na. Obviously in India they develop slow I work ki hai le hole na hole I will it as na. So what do you think future takin na watch na because mohan gonna teach away like at least 20 to 30 years as na to mohan the punchi challenge na de. So what do you think?
AI la na ina as de when new tech ai na of course job loi jai de libi itu job loi jala de tan return de aru opportunities de do
Mm,
disha.
okay. Okay. Yeah, that's true though.
And then itala scenario ina as de uh you have to use the AI, for yourself instead of AI using you, na. Ina korle. Tohan AI cholai na tohan. Let's say मैं एक website बना दे and then of course internship से इन्ना ना करो तो basic काम तो कि IT developer शिकाओ ले let's say मैं production level में मैं काम करे and I'm building website. Of course I'm gonna take the help of AI because let's say I'm gonna write 100 lines of code there and then to just build a button एक button बनाना 100 lines of code लिखे মই তো 100 lines টাইম ওয়েস্ট করার মধ্যে এআই কে নি একটা বাটন বানাই দিবে ইটো এনাই না হল লাগি না থাকো লাই ইটো দি না তা কোড লই না মই লা হিসাব টিক করলে ইটো ফাস্ট নয় instead of মই বুই না hours and hours পেকাই না লাইন বাই লাইন কি না সাই থাকা হওয়া এআই কে করে দিয়া পাল না তো ইটো নিচিনা টাইম ম্যানেজমেন্ট থাকে এআই গান চলাই চলে তো ইটো এসে মেইন তো তখন চলাও জানিব লাগে এআই কি ইটো আজিকালি prompt engineering এটা কি গান কইনা ওলা আছে না এআই কে চলাও জানিব লাগে any example like that actually let's say the job test then and then let's say you and me we're under any product director la under the bujung काम करे and then he gave us a task मैं AI चलाना काम कुछे तो निजर हिसाब से काम कुछे तो कौन work first complete करो तू करो ना मैं करो इंगा types ना मैं AI ला help ना करे तू AI ला help लाना है तो मुला work खेलो fast हो ना इधर हिसाब से ना वाले ला मम्मा ना जो coding खाने ना इतना तक भी AI तो ना पूरा ना पड़े दे मान developer ला काम ना of course low level developer ला काम तो करो भी high level engineer ला काम करो ना पड़े AI इतना भी ना पड़े तो ना पड़ा तक तो developer से बजले तो हम भी high level करो पर्सी कुले तो आरो एनाज दे high level एक पुन okay depend let's say this is level 1 okay level एनाज level सन as दे 1 2 3 4 एनाज दे so let's see AI वा इतु level ला काम करो पर्सी दे तो ताई इतु level ला काम करो पर्सी कुले developer ताई तो सब करो लगे तो ना ताई AI इतु करो पर्सी कुले तो developer he can skip this part and he can focus on this part na mili AI idu ko parise tai idu charna idu focus ko par mili AI idu ko parise ina na complexity uthi jare ode like complexity ki tai khatam hoy inga nai de complexity is always on the rise uthi thake every time tu ekta solve koro another issue lao ekta solve koro another issue lao enas because ide major projects kana man ita simple project maybe like 500 lines of code ko ho jao par de only dangor project khan de 40,000 lines 50,000 lines inga thake de
Okay.
So, hoi, tu ko tala to designer the guy tala job lu she pare odi like tai bi level up kola hota gi na ja he needs to move to the next level AI la pore jabo lage li tai tadi forever thaki stuck hoshi bole to ibu korna po du laser tiba
So my my no halna like tala portfolio khan check karne mo usually like designs khan la check karna to any tala site ha dem de like usually tala web de like animations kan porta thake aro like
yeah yeah
obviously tahan as a designer tahan la website stand out korle mon thake na to
yes
usually
yes
like crazy level of your
yep
animations
yep
kan thake o ena korna
mm
even hover kora dan debi tahan la
mm
like kya thake
mm
to usually like it is css alone but achievable ase
acha ina as de CSS alone but achievable as na tu holi ina mo explain koro de tu CSS the kurje hole na. Let's say tu CSS auto achieve korle mon as there, then you'll have to write like let's say any 1 lakh lines of code likhola hole the. Only the framework jo like let's say you did in like 50,000 codes, and 10,000 codes. Inga na 10k 50k de pari jawa. तो कुन जो ती 1 lakh codes लिखो ना इतो जाओ ये तिला first question
50
reply
50
करले तो तिला first question answer करले तो होय पारिवो लिबि इतो रै बिसि जाओ पारे तिले माने that's why the frameworks खान बना the main reason के जे simplify करले ना compress करना के करले बनाइछ framework खान ना ती lines मान लिखि थाका बा direct simplify करना बनाइ देलास so उथान गाडी ना gsap खान আছে you have another one called 3js yeah, there's another called Vue.js আছে gsap আছে 3js খন আছে তো থাকে না okay there I like this one with I forgot this okay there was this one guy there's another one called Webflowbit also. You can use all सब चलेन तो हम बनाओ परो there's more text और नতুन नाम भी उलाई থাকে ना here I like this guy's website you can like literally just drive a car and then that website क्या करो पर so you can see he worked on like 3js and then the projects kind of there then सब बनाउले गर्ने you have to like there are more text than this gsap एक ताजे 3js एक ताजे Vue.js एक ताजे webflow on there और दो भी लगे right now I just only know all this manage anymore then now actually we don't need that there we the condition designer they want their their website to stand out right because client can be the actually the oh okay type are kiba to korean na inga types one is not mahang da man lagi na ne of course simple animation kan do css kan achieve ko par lo to level na top level kan la to one kan develop overkill as unless you're a designer and then you want to showcase your work to others
okay अपनी जो website show को that was like literally something else
yeah
it
yeah
did not feel like a website also
yeah mal it already a lot extreme kan as a lot extreme kan shit yeah banda itu development course na tadi I'm not gonna teach responsive to na shikawa de responsive bishi tangor ki ba itas to itu na shikawa mo koi thakani na first day like if you know one second years alak first year alak like second year finally second years and above kan one winter de lishe like first kan summer de lishe gule to alak alak shikawa pade so tan sob itas na ekta hoina na ita tan sob mix na itu ne man responsive to shikawa na pa तान बुझो पढ्यो like freshers kan tam shi dopo jane
oh about that like so mohan winter TV internship logo like only like as a requirement
no it is तान ला institution ला पढे तान तान की पढे है तान year day एक बार ही लेने की I think so I'm not sure
okay
तान
or only
yeah होती
like only अपनी hand provide करना winter TV
yeah
ना
yeah
bro
मान तो है tako yes tako क्या मामा winter day अलग का इतना करने खाली computer science है ना अली मामा winter day expand कर देते माना अलग खाली
okay
जो अलग अलग
okay
departments खाली cover करेंगे ना और तान इन्हें किताब इन्हें की बात doubts खान लगी शे ना से गले तो just come up free actually of course will be if you're available then help growly free thakane will do one free thakam de we'll just follow up online or offline for the window. We have not still planned yet. We can't say anything for sure. Ita karne do.
One thing I have noticed, like, man, like, recent seniors can thakadana, tahan already cha handa, mala.
Okay,
To
okay.
tahan, like, motahan do bisibak sa hando, like, tahan game banay na, game, sama prototype boli na, game la prototype ekta banay na, tahan bisibak ito thakishe, di thakada. To, ito valid hobo, like, as a university, la,
Yes,
saisho
yes.
standpoint.
बड़े स्टार्टअप भी देख ले इंडी से रेट्रो गेम बना दो कोई माला स्पेलिंग कोई REDI dimensional games रजे 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 हाँ अच्छा the games था देख ना it's valid लगे तो हम जनरल नहीं दिए कोई माला स्टार्टअप इतना दे दिए
Oh, yes, I
dan
remember.
recently Crafton games ला देना क्या हुआ इसी तो तां क्या पाइना है incubator हुई ना तां under देना तो yeah games can be viable only you have to do something like a lot of different goal like this
Okay.
no only existing games can get you extra goal extra hello like types na any example अच्छा तो हम कौन भी Valorant खेला anybody plays Valorant here
Nah, trash game.
okay मोलो ताकि minus mark दियो दिन दो इनके Valorant trash game कुछ है minus mark ताकि
Nah, I'm just kidding. No.
so like see
No.
Valorant can be FPS game as na like but then like for someone who plays CS:GO तो like pure कितना देश ना only like Valorant the abilities kan हाल लीजिए ना इंगा types का ना तो existing games के लिए तो ला flavor डालना कि वो अलग बनाना पड़ेगा के लिए एक तब for example ML game on Riot ला तो कि वाला copy भी कर जाता है इंगा types का
Mm, okay.
only yes to the first question answer तो yes viable is only we beginners से तो you're just exploring तो इको नहीं दे beginners से तो only like the career type बनाओ सकले तो a lot out of the box go like and then in intake
Uh,
it's not just about building website or building apps it has many things there to graphic to the already graphic designers na do any skills graphic designing or game development or software development kind of say there are many things you can even go in like software testing kind of say you can go in like uh the networking la kiba na networking kan sa like there are many things field issue vast है चुतो नहीं data analyst करना है data scientist करना है data engineers करना है there are many things okay okay cyber security भी एक है and I think cyber security and data science is your job तो ना AI वाला होना पड़ेगा और the lifetime security job लागेगा ले तो electrical department में कुछ है lineman भी ना मां ताना job है
oh.
AI can't run
Acha,
without power ना energy
ito, Rohit bro, the question na, like, ever share for a
अच्छा
programming
अच्छा
language to be outdated? Kina huwa to?
इन्हें तो नहीं दे because see okay like outdated the code na bro but then like okay some language can be outdated like assembly language can is nearly purna language na tahan valid na it's like it's based on their validation no valid as na nai man the language to chalao itla porde se because of the command purna language they still do exist and then they keep on releasing the updates na tahan bhi language ke bahal kurne chahe tahan bhi evolve kore language ke evolve kore na so it's like based on the needs yeah, like I was saying, na iku ta time limit enga na iku outdated whole enga na valid as na ito is. If it's still valid, then it's not outdated. It's not if it's not valid, or validation भी ना you can judge it based on the let's say तोहन job काम केतावले in the future तोहन job केतावले ना इतना तोहन साव लगे मुला job करने तो valid असना नहीं ना types ना let's say मैं front end job करने apply करें ना तो मैं करनी PHP backend like को valid नहीं मैं करनी ना they are not valid to me मैं मुला focus front end ही ऐसे तो मैं front end ला related करने शिको backend मैं करने valid नहीं does that mean is it outdated no ना इंगा types depends on that
Okay.
अच्छा तोहन आरो like okay it's good तोहन question काम share से itu bala से then maybe तोहन answer करना फल लगी से अरे मान ना sorry तोहन भी इधर को beginning stage थे is ना so like मान इधर की कर ले okay sorry तोहन इधर developer ला क्यों नहीं उठी है ना developer ला is like as a developer you are trying to grow you're trying to evolve तो तोहन भी step by step जाओ ना and then to climb a to climb a ladder you need to start from the bottom ना तो like मैं developer वाले इसका direct top दिन तक पहुँचो तो तोहन नीचे बस start करो ना तो तोहन इधर मान इधर की कर ले से तो तोहन foundation एक ताज़ है तोहन की basic kan clear करो and then itu से next तो तोहन तो पारे जा भी से तोहन next तो इधर question तोहन question होती था खान तोहन try out को पर तोहन basic understanding आ जाओ ना then you guys can try out and तोहन की करले मुना से तोहन achieve कर पाए ना तो इतना मान की करले से तो internship और training की major focus तो तोहन के foundation एक build करले क्यों साइड मान भी तते वा पूरी नाइस ना तो मान भी तते level खान चले दे तो इना ना मान मैं ले example ले मैं masters ना पुंचा तक मैं एको knowledge था करने coding ला तो मैं BCA दी okay BCA 6 semester वही मैं अलग focus है ना अलग प्योर करा लास्ट ने तो BCA like the 5 semesters तो मैं नहीं ना जाने की ना ऐसे मैं backlog buki na idai shimo alak thai shidun masters ti alop alag hoise and BCF 6 semester he alop mondina korna ise to ina ase mui tate BCA de foundation pana nai to ani MCA na bishi duk paise nga right na bari to hangi na kodule mune to hangi starting ma at least na सब सिकाउन पर्ने फाउन्डेसन एकदम बनाएर राखिदिनु मन छ त त्यो फाउन्डेसन ताकि त इतलाबाट त लेयर्स थाल्न যাব त फ्रेमवर्क kan सिकुले मन छ उले त की करले मन छ त एक आइडिया पे एक आइडिया पा बिस ना फाउन्डेसन एक थाका बिस इना जने मान खोर तांगor बनाव थाकिले फाउन्डेसन नाथाकिले त खोर केमा तांगor बनाले काम नै ना गिरि जाय ना इना निस्टा फाउन्डेसन बाल लागे त फाउन्डेसन एक थाका बिस त इला पढे अलग अलग केमा गर्न जाब तिनास
How was the session today, guys?
Nice.
Nice. I hope all the questions are done for today. Now we're going to
Hoishe. Done.
Okay, then one day we'll start with theories. So like you guys also have exam, na? Second years. So we'll make it alternate days for you guys, even for first years. Individually rangi class diwo. Tuan absent diagram de aji la do ile material diwo na mo na. Recorded session diwo idu rangi material si photo. But then for the web development, now once we start a portfolio, we cannot give out materials, just materials. Okay, we want you to attend the classes properly. Then exam kan kian takil we do alternate test kona ja kwani na. Eja doile first year kita record kona photo then exam takarni na. But for the portfolio, we cannot just record and send because we want to make sure that you are learning from us na. Yadi buina. So we'll we have like we have already made a calendar, okay, but we'll make it available for you in maybe by next week because one are prepared on it publicly. So we'll send in Google Forms are doing it publicly available good. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. I hope this will if so then session afternoon. Actually, one bit that actually we were trying to do that, but then some of us we have full-time job also apart from SplinXify. So after 10 we're again going to office. So office to most of us are in corporate, so like kija timing chuti hoy na jane na. So we come 6, 7, 8, maybe sometimes 9. So it's not possible to take in this one. And also we want to make sure that see we have already discussed in the orientation also 35 of you as a so like 5 of you might be very interested arukiba kurule pare na it one be consider aggressive, but then now majority of the people they also after the exam they are going to their place na first year especially first year taka na first time as kung dili paharwa ina puri ase so they also want to go and spend their vacation at home ito ane mommy we're trying to make sure that you can enjoy your vacation and also attend internship at the same time, so that's why we kept in the morning so that it won't not the rest of the day it won't affect nuguru. Now morning 8 to 10 8 guru. Now you have all day for you. Now it lies up to you, Guru. So evening session it's not possible. Like we said, we can adjust the date, we can adjust everything. Now it lies up here. We have discussed everything. We have made an arrangement to record the session. We have also made alternate days for you guys, and also we have break down all the syllabus for you guys in the easiest way possible. And also we are trying to give everything that is necessary for your foundation. But regarding timing, that's the only thing we cannot adjust as of now, because we are also working. Because ija condition as things we are also a team which only half of us are fully committed in this project, and half of the team again they are engaged in full-time work. So ija condition 8 to 10 is the only possible time for us. So I hope you guys understand it, right, Rohit? Okay, so shall we end here? We still have some time because it's 8 to 10. You guys can use, or maybe we can end the session here. Okay, thank you everyone. You can leave.